My most memorable career moment was after recording and releasing 3 Feet High and Rising, becoming clients of Russell Simmons and Lyor Cohen and Bert Fidel. That was the day I could say I became a professional. Like, it was an amazing moment, you know. First and foremost, throughout the release of Potholes and Plug Tuning, Russell Simmons used to always show up to where we hung out, where we performed, everywhere, and would solicit us to be his clients under management. Russell was the funniest dude back then, man. He wasn't the Buddhist monk you see today. He was a wild cat. And he used to roll up, and he was like, yo, I know I fucked up signing y'all to the label, but I gotta get y'all on the management. Let's roll, baby. He used to just come heavy, you know, and I ain't gonna lie, it was always my dreams to want to roll with him, but being around who I was around early on and getting schooled, I knew to wait, you know. I knew to wait, you know. At that moment in time, it was like, there wasn't much to manage. We were just kids who had 1 or 2 songs out. It didn't really turn into something until it was time to release an album. And let alone when we released the album, it was more of a backlash of success. Now there's something worth managing. And we kids now embarking on a career and don't quite know what to do or where it's gonna go. So yeah, now let's get a manager, you know? And Russell and Lyor was right there, you know? Bad as they wanted to work with us, is just as bad as we wanted to work with them. And it was so surreal. It was very surreal. Like, Russell and Lyor came up to my school, talked to the Board of Education and my mom to see to it that I could go on tour while school was still in session, you know? And granted, I was supposed to have graduated from high school in '88. I ended up graduating in '89 because I cut the rest of '88 to go work with Prince Paul. Landed on this record deal with Tommy Boy, and it started to happen. Yeah, going back to school, you know, was a part of what was necessary, you know. It was always to make my mother proud. Like, let me get that part of my, you know, I could have dropped out easily, but it was like, my mother was on me with that. Like, I don't care what you do in the world, just graduate high school. So I did. I finished high school, and in the process of all that going on, Russell and Lyor came up to the school, met with the principal, superintendent. They even had, I didn't even know I was doing well. The records was out, and I started to focus. I'm going to class, I'm doing my thing, I'm actually getting it together. Just, the principal was like, Vincent Mason had a complete 180. He went from a failing student to being an A-B student. And then they allowed me to go on tour, to go to do a 4-week tour in England and Europe. And at that time, the fax modem was just began. So I'm faxing home, you know, papers and homework and everything I had to be updated with just to be up to date with all my classes, you know. There was times like, yeah, after the show, I couldn't hang out. I was getting kicked out the club to go back to the hotel to do my homework and all that. But those was really cool times, man, where, you know, I attribute a lot of my success right up until this day. Although, you know, they got out of the game, they got out of the management game in the mid-90s, but I attribute that my success right up to this day to Lyor Cohen, Russell Simmons, and Bert Fidel. Bert Fidel was the business manager, the money man, you know, help you guide your money, tell you what to do. If you didn't do it, you was an asshole, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I can attribute every financial mistake to being my own, you know, because I was definitely schooled by the best. But here it is. What was the beauty of being with them was not when things were good, when things got bad. That's how you know you got a real manager and you got a real business manager. Everybody's not just with you when there's the records are selling and the success is there. It's like, how about when the days are dark, you know? Because we had some pretty dark days, came Balloon Mind State, you know? It was some dark days around De-La's Dead. Both records wasn't as successful as the first one. And then when you get by, at this point, when you're talking about a career, you got responsibilities, you got dudes who done acquired children, all the other things then kicked in at this point, you know what I mean? So these were the people who were there when days got dark and knew how to keep the system going. So, because at the end of the day, life gotta go on. The tax man, the light man, the mortgage man don't care about De-La. So and how good or well you doing. If you're doing good, it's in their favor. If you're doing bad, yeah, there might be some eviction letters showing up, you know? So there was always a great system in place by those three men that allowed us to keep working. Like, you know, touring, we never stopped, you know? That was a big beauty of knowing when records weren't selling and, you know, there was at least enough impression out there to actually go out and entertain and earn from that and other facets as well surrounding touring, like merchandise and things like that. All of those lessons prepped us for what it is even right now today, you know? And if you realize it's like, that's all everybody is talking about now, how to build their brand and, you know, maximize on who they are and not only just make records and tour, but put themselves in other positions to earn passively, you know what I mean? So, you know, those were great people, man, really great people. And rest in peace to Burt Padell because he just passed away.